What was the plan back then? What was the plan? You mentioned he was an
Yeah.
engineer. He was supposed to have a project with the government. Ano ba yung eksakto yung dapat nangyari nung panahon na yun?
Supposed to be a housing development
Doon sa
na,
mismong lugar.
oo, doon sa mismong
Okay.
lugar. So, back in the day kasi, ngayon, magubat na siya, 'di ba? Pero nung mga panahon na yon, sobrang deteriorated na ng lugar. It was really barren. Very ripe for development na siya. And you'll notice kung pumunta ka sa site, yung katabi namin, housing development, it's a Santa Lucia area. Apparently, yung northern parts namin were given away for quarries to work on, diba?
Okay.
And then right beside us is another titled property. So to an extent, the going understanding then was, okay, this part of the area will get developed.
Okay.
It's part of the area that will most likely be used for a different purpose already.
Yeah.
Pagdating naman ng tatay ko, kita niya yung mga bato.
Yeah.
No? And nakita niya how important those rock formations are. Backstory, he's worked on water projects through the country, but also in Africa.
Wow.
So we're talking about studying water scarcity and the impact of development on waterways and life support ecosystems. Meron siyang
Technical
understanding.
know-how.
Yeah, meron siyang technical know-how of that. And we're not talking about, foresters, diba? And scientists who almost everyone already expects to understand bakit kailangan pangalagaan yung mga lugar na to. You're hearing it from an engineer,
Yeah.
no, who normally people believe is inclined towards development, but is saying, no, if we want to give water to people, that's not the way to develop this area, considering the reliance of so many to it. So nung nakita niya yon, kind of joined with the unfortunate, situation na hindi naging successful yung housing part. For him, yes, there's a cost to it, but it's also a unique opportunity to change how that area is going to be used. So it really started with him and how persistent he is na, that happens despite the odds.
So, kumbaga, directionally, it was really meant to be a housing development. But when your dad assessed the area and the general surrounding area, nakita niya
Sayang.
na sayang and that there's
Parang
a
hindi
better use
dapat.
for it.
Oo.
Okay.
Diba?
Okay.
Simple terms, pag sinabi mong watershed, yan yung tubig kanlungan na nagpo-flow mula sa mga upper reaches ng mga mountains. Parang bowl ba? Pababa ng mga rivers and waterways before it comes out to sea.
Okay.
So pag sinabi mong Upper Marikina watershed, yan yung umaagos sa Marikina River, sa Pasig River, palabas ng Manila Bay. So lahat ng mga pagbabaha na nararanasan mo, 'di ba? Comes from the deterioration of that water tank, so to speak.
Okay.
Lahat yan nagsisimula para sa amin at sa totoo nang naman, 'di ba? Sa pagkasira ng mga hagubatan natin na dapat nag-hold ng tubig na 'yon. No? And this is supposed to be able to time the release of the water
Okay.
into the waterways through the year. When our rangers were shot, two of our rangers were shot in 2021. Grabe yung moment na yun for the team. Kasi muntik na silang mamatay eh. So iba yung hit nun sa akin, di ba? We're lucky that they live. Maybe God loves us not that much. Pero sa ulo sila tinamaan ng mga land grabbers na who fired at them. And they were back 5 days, 1 week after, because everyone understands that tayo yung magtutulungan dito. It's hard to do that. There's so many safer...
Passion and love talaga for what you do.
Oo, exactly. That's why it's really
It's a vocation.
Mahirap talaga yon kasi when you talk about reforestation, for you to bring back the forest, it takes
Tagal
you
yan.
120 years to bring back the biodiversity
Correct.
and the health of a forest ecosystem as a whole. No, hindi lang yan tree planting eh. It's bringing back the diversity of life that should be there.
Yeah.
Taking care of the soil, the water, in addition to just the planting that's happening.
And-
so it takes 120 years. So naturally, yung mga short-term oriented leadership goals tends to clash with that long-term prioritization.
And even the interpretation of what the vision is supposed to be, diba? It can change.
Yeah, pero if you think about it, that should govern how we plan everything. Start with that, no?
Okay.
Meron pang idea, by the way, on land use plans that maybe it should first be evaluated at the watershed level. Diba? Kasi yan dapat yung mag-govern. Ano ba yung mga pwede mong i-develop? Ano yung mga waterways na kailangang protektahan, etc. And it is a conflict now. Kapag, let's say, ang nangyayari sa Upper Marikina, the Rizal province decides na, oh, it's okay to mine or quarry these mountains. Tapos magugulat si Marikina at saka si Quezon City, ay bakit ang lakas na ng baha? Diba? It's also because it becomes disjoint when at heart and at base, dapat integrated yung pagplano for the entire basin.
Parang ano yan, parang, kumbaga, what you're saying is, don't look at it at an isolated case or at an isolated area lens. Konektado lahat yan. Parang katawan ng tao yan, di ba?
Oo,
Na baka yung hinlalaki mo sa paa, okay lang na matapak-tapangan, pero may epekto na din pala siya sa ibang parte ng katawan mo.
Oo,
Parang
tama.
ganun.
Oh, there's too many of you coming in. You might not realize it, pero yung tunog nyo palang lahat na magkakasama, may epekto na yan sa wildlife population.
Sound pollution.
Yeah, sound pollution. So you might be entering zones that are meant to be strictly protected kasi dyan nagninest yung mga iba't ibang uri ng ibon. 'Di ba? Tapos 30 kayo sabay-sabay ang ingay ninyo.
Okay.
'Di ba? So what's going to happen? Aalis yung hayop. Saan lilipat yan? If you're in a place like Masungi, developments na yung nasa paligid, saan yan lilipat?
So pag nandun
Diba?
pala, dapat pag nag-uusap kayo, animal sounds. Koo, koo.
You know, among biologists, hindi ka rin dapat nag-animal sounds eh. Baka
Ganun ba?
makadisrupt ka ng mating pattern. So, akala nung ibon, ikaw yung partner niya. Anyway, may mga ganyan.
Interesting
I can be overly cautious of it. Are you familiar with these things? I can be overly cautious of it, pero just
Pag
for fun
maraming
sa
ibon,
ngayon.
di ba? Huwag ka huwag ka meow. Baka matakot sila, umalis sila doon, di ba? Dapat,
Daling maintindihan. If you go back to the Upper Marikina watershed, the siltation control capability of that area is equivalent to 10,500 dams. No? 10,500 dams. What's the cost?
Damn.
What's the opportunity? Oh, what's the cost of that? Building those dams.
na naturally, nandyan na.
Na naturally nandyan na. Konting tanim lang, alagaan mo, protektahan mo. And hindi lang naman disaster resilience yung contribution yan. Water security din, agricultural production din, air quality din. Ang dami pang iba. But yes, sige, let's narrow it down to siltation control. Very specifically siltation control. Which
Sorry,
dams
ano
work
yung
on.
siltation control?
Yung pag di ba pag nasira yung gubat mo,
Oo.
yung soil mo nag-erode.
Correct.
So yung pag-control ng pagbaba ng silt into your waterways and to your river systems, you wanna be able to stop that. No?
Gets.
So kaya nagkakaroon ng siltation control activities yung Marikina, yung Pasig. On a yearly basis, they invest millions in that practice. No? Kasi yung lupa from your watershed areas, sa mga
Gets.
bundok kagaya ng Masungi, without the forest cover, gets washed down into your waterways, mas mabilis magbaha.
Gets. Parang, to your point, imbes na gumastos, repairing because of the effects of
Building,
the
repairing, maintaining.
building, repairing, maintaining, or repairing na lang, sabihin natin, yung sa city na because of the side effects of deforestation in areas. Yung budget dyan, kung nagamit na lang at the root cause,
At the root cause.
which is the,
Oo.
the actual place itself, and mape-prevent mo, di ba?
Yeah. And magamit mo pa services sa mga tao.
Okay.
Diba? Instead, you're paying for the cost of the destruction that should have been factored in to start before it was even done.
Gets. Gets. I think maganda yung sinabi mo kasi to your point, yung quantification of the trade-offs need to be holistic. I think that's what you're saying. And sometimes because of the immediacy of the effects of certain areas of development, na forgo or na de-prioritize yung magiging long-term impact ng that development in other areas like conservation, environmental conservation, which in the end also affects the people.
Tama. Oo.
And kasi end of the day we live in one space, diba?
Yes.
So
So remember, the values that I was giving you, And there's a huge study on Upper Marikina on this, kung gusto mo pang basahin. And it's done by no less than the World Bank. When I'm in the World Economic Forum, ang mga kamiting ko, insurance companies, bankers, economists, etc. Because everyone recognizes na hindi lang to question for scientists. This isn't just greenies who want to take care of it. Very real yung impact, no, ng pagkasira ng mga gubat and ng life support ecosystems natin. So, just for anyone who still believes it's just as simple as conservation versus development. No? We're already, in 2026? It's already about how do you create that balance, diba?
Yeah.
When the impacts are very real and very well recognized,
Yeah.
even by economists, even by bankers.
And dyan papasok din, I remember I learned in my corporate job yung tinatawag na paradox thinking, which is seemingly contrasting priorities, but in the end, it's not a matter of either or.
Correct.
It's a matter of new creative thinking to actually achieve both.
Tama.
To achieve your end purpose or goal.
Yeah.
Diba?
So, to your question a while ago, okay ba yun, sabihin na natin, magpasok ka ng quarry company, will employ 20 people for the next 3 years. But the trade-off is, ganito karaming pababa, ang laki ng damage nun. Diba?
And how sophisticated?
It's not even worth it.
How sophisticated are the impact assessment or the measuring tools when it comes to, all these priorities? Or
Pretty
would you say
sophisticated already.
medyo sophisticated
Oo.
siya?
Magaling na yung mga yan. And you don't even, honestly, dito rin nabibitan yung mga ibang tao eh. Diba? Na parang, let's do a full impact assessment first. And until we get to the very detail of things,
Walang gagalaw.
walang gagalaw. Wala tayong mararating dyan. Diba? Because just by basic science, there are already things that are given when certain things happen. You don't even need very specific numbers for that, if I may argue. Kasi very clear na yung impact sa tao pagkatapos. You look at the Upper Marikina watershed. Maglalagay ka ng quarries, people will say it's easy for people to conclude na, paano naman yung livelihood ng mga tao? Diba? Well, let me tell you what, that community, tell them what they will lose when it comes to free water and health, diba? And yung security ng mga bahay nila would definitely rather not have that there.
Or is there not another way to also achieve that without
Yeah, correct. Without having to...
impacting these things,
Correct.
which will be in the long run detrimental to them as well?
Oo.
Yeah.
Kasi sila mismo magsasabi sa'yo na, no, that's not it. And yung pasahod mo sa akin ng 3-5 taon won't even
Offset if
the
something
cost that
happens.
will happen.
Yeah.
That's the cost that my family will apparently have to absorb.
And with AI
Diba?
now siguro, no, yung mga ganyan na impact assessment, parang mas madali na din siguro.
I haven't really looked at that. Pero interesting. It should be. The AI could be used for good things. I mean, there's sustainability criticisms to it. But we should also use it for good.
Kasi, 'di ba, yung the formulas related to impact assessment easily with AI should lead to assuming na tama yung input data nun, no?
Correct.
Governing the frameworks that it will be using to come up with an output should help.
It will help. I don't want to go down the slippery slope that it's enough. Because when you're talking about a country as unique as the Philippines, you really need to be specific with your studies.
Tsaka
For example, sorry, go ahead.
Tsaka limited din pa siguro
Limited
yung
pa yung
input.
data set eh.
Oo.
Sobrang limited ng data set. If I ask AI now to identify a bird in the Philippines, it's not gonna identify it accurately. Diba? Just because ang unique and ang limited ng data sets. But this also brings me to what I always tell people. Now, when you understand what you're gifted with as a country, diba? We normally look at our cultural aspect. When it comes to the Filipino identity, we rarely look at ano ba yung landscape and ano ba yung natural heritage that shape us as a people.
Yeah.
Right? And you need to look at that so you understand what kinds of development you can pursue and should pursue. Otherwise, big disjoint. Right? then you end up pursuing forms of development that apparently isn't good for the Philippines.
Or are not related to your core strength and differentiator.
Correct.
Even
Correct.
from a, let's
Parang
say,
sports angle.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No,
I
for
always
sure.
put basketball versus football given the morphology of Filipino.
Yeah, tama. I think yung kumbaga, kung alam
Sorry,
mong,
bros.
kung alam mong average height ng Pilipino, 5'6", di ba?
Saan ka mag-i-invest? Sa basketball o sa ano?
Di ba? So, basketball ba? O weightlifting na lang?
Oo.
Or
Kung gusto mong
boxing na
maging
lang?
globally recognized and
Tama.
competitive.
Tama.
Diba?
Yeah. So I think good point. Well, we'll take a quick break and then let's resume and talk about more maybe the biodiversity in Masungi.
Sige.
Alright. All right, and we're back. When I was researching about Masungi, I saw a lot of news about new flora and fauna na very specific to Masungi. What are the latest news in that space?
Yeah. Well, first, mga 800 documented species na yata yun nasa Masungi ngayon. So, nakakatuwa. 800, yeah.
Na Masungi specific, is that correct?
Mas they are found in Masungi, but they may not be found just in Masungi.
Okay,
It could
okay.
also be present elsewhere.
But that's just the biodiversity of it.
yeah,
800
ganda na,
species.
diba?
Yeah.
When I first went to Masungi, parang kambing lang yung kalaro ko dun.
Oh.
Oh, so medyo far
Ngayon?
cry na. Ngayon, 800 na yung kalaro ko dun.
800 kambing na.
Hindi, wala nang kambing.
Wala na kambing.
800 wildlife species na. Anyway, what you were saying, siguro yung pinaka huli na na-discover or nahanap would be a species of plant that's called Exacum loheri. So, si Exacum loheri, nakakatuwa because it's a mycoheterotrophic, mamaya na yung explanation of flower that's been gone from science for 130 years. So, hindi
Wow.
siya nakita for 130 years.
Ano siya?
Exacum
Exacum.
loheri.
Parang parang
Mahirap
Harry
sa Pilipinas
Potter.
kasi
Parang
wala-
Harry Potter spell yan ah.
Exacum loheri.
Oo.
Kasi ang dami nating forms of life, diba? Pero wala
Oo.
silang common names. Sa dami nila. Parang scientific name
Ano
lang
yung
tawag.
layman's name niya? Meron na ba?
Wala eh. Yun lang talaga eh.
Yun yung
Exacum
ipangalan
loheri.
sa Masungi or something.
Yeah, we're doing that with some species. Maraming masungiensis
Hmm.
na species name na lalabas.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, nakakatawa.
But what's so special about this flower?
So si Exacum loheri hasn't been seen for 130 years, but it's a mycoheterotrophic plant. So pag sinabing mycoheterotrophic, ibig sabihin yan, hindi siya kumukuha ng sustansya from your usual sources. So kung yung typical plant mo, sunlight, soil, diba? Diyan sila kumukuha ng sustansya kaya sila nabubuhay. Si Exacum loheri ay nakadepende sa mycelial network.
Mycelial network.
So nakadepende
Ano yan?
siya sa fungus, sa ilalim ng lupa, na magbibigay ng sustansya sa kanya. So it is connected through the fungal network to different plants around it. And kapag merong extra sustansya, in simple terms, kung merong extra nutrients, yung mga puno na to at yung fungal network na to give to him, then that's when it lives and that's when it blooms.
Galing.
So it's a small purple flower, nakakatuwa. Pero ganun siya ka dependent on the health of its surrounding ecosystem. Kung walang extra na ibibigay, wala yung mga halaman doon, wala yung health ng fungal network, hindi siya mabubuhay. An example recently na na-observe namin is the impact of extreme heat and extreme weather conditions also on biodiversity. Because over the weekend, we documented a monkey opening one of our faucets for water.
Okay.
Kasi ganun
Ka-scarce.
walang tubig. Ka-scarce yung tubig. Literally drought conditions in some parts of Masungi. So red alarm, alarm na dapat
Yeah.
yun for all of us. I mean,
Yeah.
we know that we're close to water scarcity also. Diba? Pero the signs have been there from nature all along. Diba? And there needs to be something done about this now because water doesn't regenerate in a snap. We don't have the capability for that just yet. diba, when it comes to bringing back your fresh water, which is, by the way, what we all rely on, not just salt water. No, yeah. The fresh water of the world is what, at 2%, the water that exists, that we see around, diba? Just at 2%. So it's actually a scarce resource. So yung mga, grabe yun for us. Kasi parang, one, nakakatuwa tignan, diba? Pero what does it say? Yun nga, wala na siyang mahanap na tubig to the point that he would risk coming close to humans just to get water. Diba? So, I think that's an element rin na hindi natin nakikita. Paano yung epekto ng ginagawa natin sa mga hayop.
Or
Diba?
pwede din naglalakad lang siya doon tapos nakita niya.
Doubt it. It's it's a new, for the amount of times that we've been running this, it's only in the last 2 years. So going to GDP, when we talk about gross domestic product,
Product, yeah.
normally that's our gauge for how a country is progressing, diba? Or if it's getting richer. Pero on the field, you can tell that it's an incomplete picture. So say for instance in Masungi, when destructive activity comes in the nearby communities, it may seem like tumataas yung GDP, but what's actually happening on the ground is yung dating libreng tubig, kailangan na nilang bayaran. Diba? Yung dating hindi nila kailangang gawing sobrang konkretong mga bahay and structures, kailangan na nilang pagtibayan because of the flood or the pagguho ng lupa that they will have to anticipate. So it gives you a false picture of growth. Dati, you have all of these resources that your community can access for free and arguably should ideally be accessible for everyone or present for everyone. Pero now they have to pay for already. Right? So we go back to basic needs of life, right? And supposedly basic rights of people to have.
And that's where you're coming from when you say na not necessarily GDP per capita but quality of life in general.
Yeah, so it's a lot of things. Health
Okay.
of people, diba? All of these education, all of these things that you can't easily correlate with just your GDP measures. So if you look at small island nations, the Maldives, diba? Papua New Guinea, kung ano-ano pang mga iba't ibang small island nations. Because it is understandably smaller, it's easier for them to understand how their lives correlate with their ecosystem.
Okay.
Diba? So, yes, they could, if they just prioritize GDP, allow their island to be mined, the entire island to be mined, tataas GDP nila. But the cost for them would be their water security, right? The presence of potable water for them to drink for the years to come. And because, the understanding is, ito lang naman yung bahay ko, ito lang naman yung nation ko, that naturally, they will decide against that. Yung ecotourism, you ask the whole team, that's therapy for us, no, as far as we're concerned. But the heavy lifting and the heavy work is definitely on protecting the landscape. So when we say protecting the landscape, you talk about industries such as illegal land grabbing syndicates, mga ganyan, that
Sindikato,
typically go under the radar. Yeah, sindikato sa lupa, yung mga maharlika, mga ganyan. No? Armed people who occupy land for development. Mga illegal quarries, diba? Mga resort owners and businessmen na nagpapanggap na magsasaka pero hindi naman pala. Bigger developments such as wind energy projects in these sensitive ecosystems that haven't followed the right processes. So maraming mga threats, no? And that leads to physical risks for us in the field. And to an extent, legal and political risks because of course these are people who have entrenched backers most of the time. So has there ever been a time that I've felt unsafe? I think in general, we've learned to live with the idea that just generally is. So in the Philippines, it's, I don't know how many people know it already. Sana more naman, but it's really the deadliest place for environment defenders in Asia. No? So ang mga kapantay natin are the countries in South America, groups that are protecting the Amazons. But in the Philippines, we've been leading the way at deaths for more than a decade now, no, for the Asia Pacific area. So grabe. And from my perspective, kailangan talaga ng urgent intervention when it comes to that. Kasi pag-uusap pa lang natin, 'di ba? You learn a lot because of what I get to witness on the ground. They're better witnesses to that. Indigenous people are better witnesses than me when it comes to these things. The indigenous wisdom and knowledge that they have, so much more than my very tiny encyclopedia of knowledge that other people may not know. Diba? And imagine that they carry that much knowledge through thousands of years of human evolution with nature. And just because it's not written down, it's discounted as human knowledge that isn't worth paying attention to. Diba? When we should be building on that. No? So, ang laking risk na yung mga environment defenders mo, your frontliners, your community members, such as indigenous people, your forest rangers, are at risk. Because they're your best source of knowledge, but they're also the ones who are stopping all of these illegal activities from happening.
Hop on!